Listen to me right now. Winners are not made in comfort. Winners are forged in fire. The difference between a winner and everyone else isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even timing. It's persistence. Winners don't quit. Think about it. Every single person who ever built something extraordinary faced the moment of breaking. They faced rejection, failure, betrayal, exhaustion, setbacks that would have crushed the average person. But here's the secret. They didn't stop. They pushed one more time. They took one more step when their legs were burning. They made one more call after everyone else shut down. They stayed in the game when the rest of the world walked away. You see, quitting is easy. Quitting is the default of comfort. Quitting is the guarantee of mediocrity. But persistence, that's rare. That's power. That's the edge that separates the dreamers from the doers. A winner looks at the wall and says, that wall is not the end, it's a test. A winner gets knocked down, and instead of asking, why me? They demand, try me. Because every hit, every failure, every setback is fuel. Winners don't avoid the pain. They use it. They don't run from rejection. They grow from it. They don't shrink under pressure. They expand through it. So when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, when that little voice in your head says, maybe it's not meant to be, that's the very moment you decide who you are. Do you fold or do you fight? Do you run or do you rise? Listen, your breakthrough doesn't come on the first try or the second or the 10th. It comes on the 100th. It comes after the sleepless nights, after the lonely mornings, after the sacrifices no one else sees. It comes after the struggle that would have broken everyone else, but not you, because winners don't quit. You were not built for average. You were not designed for good enough. You are here to conquer. You are here to win. And winning isn't about never failing. It's about refusing to stop when you do. So burn this into your mind. Persistence is your superpower. Relentlessness is your advantage, and victory belongs to those who refuse to quit. Winners don't quit. And if you choose starting right now, you will never quit either. Persistence beats talent every time. And if you truly let that sink in, your entire life changes. Talent is nice. Talent is attractive. Talent gets attention in the beginning. But talent without persistence is nothing more than wasted potential. The world is full of people who were born with incredible gifts, natural skills, advantages that made them shine for a moment. But because they lacked persistence, they never made it to the finish line. They stopped when it got hard. They folded when things didn't go their way. And because of that, their talent evaporated into mediocrity. Persistence, on the other hand, is the great equalizer. Persistence is what allows the average person to outperform the gifted. Persistence is what turns impossible into inevitable. Persistence is the quiet force that outlasts talent, because talent without work dies. But persistence never does. When you commit to persistence, you're making a decision that no matter how many times you get knocked down, you will rise again. You're saying that no matter how many doors slam in your face, you'll keep knocking. You're declaring that no matter how tired you feel, no matter how empty your tank seems, you'll find the strength to take one more step. That's what separates winners from everyone else. Winners understand that the race is not always to the swift, but to the steady. The prize is not always to the most talented, but to the most relentless. History is filled with stories of people who had no natural advantage, no apparent edge, but they kept showing up, kept trying, kept learning, kept pushing, and eventually the world could not deny them. Think about it. Every breakthrough, every invention, every revolution in human history came from persistence. The light bulb wasn't created by talent alone. It was persistence through thousands of failed attempts. The greatest athletes weren't just born with ability. They trained harder, practiced longer, refused to quit when others walked away. The most successful entrepreneurs weren't the ones with the best idea. They were the ones who stayed in the game long enough to refine it, to survive rejection, to overcome setbacks. Persistence is the difference maker. Persistence is the hidden edge that talent cannot replicate. Because talent may give you a head start, but persistence guarantees you finish. Now, persistence doesn't mean blind repetition. It doesn't mean doing the same wrong thing over and over. Persistence is intelligent resilience. It's adjusting, adapting, learning, and still refusing to quit. It's the combination of patience and pressure, of consistency and creativity. Talent gives you the ability to play the game, but persistence teaches you how to win it. And here's the thing, persistence is available to anyone. You don't need to be born with it. You don't need to inherit it. You decide it. You choose it every single day when you wake up and say, I'm not done. You choose it every time you fail and say, I'll try again. You choose it every time you face resistance. Say, this will not stop me. Most people overestimate talent and underestimate persistence. They think success is reserved for the chosen few, the naturally gifted, the lucky ones. But the truth is, persistence levels the playing field. Talent may make the journey faster, but persistence ensures the journey gets finished. Persistence builds character. Persistence builds resilience. Persistence builds a mindset that no failure, no rejection, no setback can ever destroy. And when you have that, nothing can stop you. Talent can get discouraged. Talent can get lazy. Talent can fall apart under pressure. But persistence grows stronger in adversity. Persistence thrives in challenge. Persistence multiplies with time. That is why persistence always beats talent. The moment you embrace persistence, you unlock a new version of yourself. You stop comparing yourself to others who may seem more gifted. You stop worrying about what comes easy to them and what feels hard to you. You realize that while they may burn bright in the short term, you're building a fire that will never go out. You realize that persistence is not about speed, it's about consistency. It's about getting up every day and doing the work. It's about staying in the game long enough for the odds to turn in your favor. It's about refusing to let temporary defeat become permanent failure. It's about outlasting every excuse, every doubt, every setback. Persistence makes you unstoppable because persistence cannot be defeated. The only way persistence loses is if you quit, and if you decide right now that quitting is not an option, then success becomes inevitable. Persistence is not glamorous. Persistence doesn't get applause in the moment. Persistence is quiet, steady, unseen, often unrecognized. But persistence is the root of every visible success. It's the long nights when no one is watching. It's the repetition that no one applauds. It's the sacrifices that no one notices. And one day, all that persistence erupts into a result so powerful, so undeniable, that people call you talented, lucky, gifted. But you and I both know the truth. It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was persistence. Because persistence beats talent every single time. Every setback is a setup for your comeback. And the moment you begin to see life through that lens, everything changes. Most people get hit with a setback and immediately collapse under its weight. They take failure as final, rejection as permanent, and disappointment as proof that they are not meant for more. But winners know that every single setback is nothing but a disguised opportunity. It's the universe testing your commitment, your resilience, and your hunger. It's not the end of the story. It's the turning point. It's not the nail in the coffin. It's the spark for the resurrection. Setbacks are not signals to quit. They are signals to grow, to recalibrate, to rise stronger than before. Think about the moments in your life when you were stopped cold by something unexpected. The heartbreak that shattered you, the job you didn't get, the deal that fell apart, the betrayal you never saw coming. In the moment, it felt like the end. You questioned yourself, your worth, your path. But look at who you became after it. Look at the lessons you learned, the strength you built, the perspective you gained. The version of you today would not exist without that setback. That pain carved something into you that comfort never could. That failure revealed a power inside you that success would have kept hidden. That storm forced you to grow roots deeper than you ever thought possible. Without setbacks, there are no comebacks. And without comebacks, there are no champions. A comeback is only powerful because of what came before it. The setback creates the stage, and the comeback delivers the performance. Without the rejection, there is no redemption. Without the fall, there is no rise. Without the darkness, there is no light. Winners understand this, and that is why they embrace setbacks as part of the journey, not as a detour from it. They know that every single time life knocks them down, it is preparing them for a higher level. The muscle doesn't grow without resistance. The diamond doesn't form without pressure. The phoenix doesn't rise without fire. Setbacks are the raw material of greatness. When you stop fearing setbacks and start using them, your entire energy shifts. Suddenly, failure isn't the enemy, it's the ally. Every no you hear is simply redirecting you to a better yes. Every door that slams is guiding you to the door that matters. Every ending is the beginning of something greater. Life isn't punishing you when setbacks happen. It's promoting you. It's stripping away what you don't need so you can build what you do. It's refining you, sharpening you, molding you into someone capable of handling the very success you've been dreaming of. Because let's be honest, success handed too soon destroys people. But success earned through setbacks transforms people. The comeback is not just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about showing yourself that you can endure, that you can survive, that you can thrive no matter what comes your way. Every time you bounce back, you reinforce the identity of someone unstoppable. Every time you get back up, you rewrite the narrative that failure tried to stamp on your life. Every time you turn a setback into a setup, you grow stronger, wiser, bolder. And soon you stop fearing what can go wrong because you know you'll always find a way to turn it right. The greatest stories ever told are comeback stories. The athlete who tore everything apart and came back to win. The business owner who went bankrupt and came back to build an empire. The person who hit rock bottom and came back to inspire millions. We remember them not because of their easy wins, but because of the storms they survived. We admire them not for their comfort, but for their resilience. And you have that same potential inside you. Your setback right now, whatever it is not the end. It is the setup for the story that will define you. And when you rise, the world will see not just what you achieved, but who you became in the process. Every setback contains a lesson. And if you miss the lesson, you miss the blessing. The lesson might be patience, humility, discipline, or perseverance. The lesson might be clarity on what truly matters. The lesson might be a redirection toward your true path. But there is always a lesson, and when you extract it, you transform the pain into power. You turn the very thing that tried to break you into the fuel that rebuilds you. That's why setbacks are never wasted unless you choose to waste them. Winners don't waste them. Winners squeeze out every lesson, every ounce of growth, every drop of wisdom. Then they rise up, armed and dangerous, ready for the comeback. The comeback is always greater than the setback because it carries weight. It carries scars that remind you of what you survived. It carries wisdom that talent alone could never provide. It carries confidence that only comes from walking through fire and coming out the other side. That's why comebacks inspire people. That's why they move us. Because deep down, we all face setbacks. And when we see someone rise from theirs, it reminds us that we can rise from ours too. Your comeback has the power not only to change your life, but to change the lives of everyone watching you. Your resilience becomes their permission. Your rise becomes their hope. Your victory becomes their vision. So the next time life hits you, don't collapse, don't complain, don't curse the sky. Recognize what's happening. Recognize that this is your setup. Recognize that the comeback is being staged. Recognize that the story is being written and you are the one holding the pen. You may not control the setback, but you control the response. You may not choose the fall, but you choose the rise. And in that choice lies your destiny. Every setback is a setup for your comeback. And the moment you believe that with everything inside you, you become unstoppable. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. And once you understand this truth deep in your soul, your perspective on struggle and challenge will never be the same again. Pain is part of growth. Pain is part of progress. Pain is part of becoming the person you were meant to be. Yet most people run from pain. They see discomfort as danger. They confuse difficulty with defeat. Winners know better. Winners understand that pain is not permanent, that it comes and goes like a storm, and when it passes, what is left is strength, resilience, and wisdom. Quitting, on the other hand, leaves a scar that never fades. Quitting plants regret deep in your heart, and regret is heavier than any pain you could ever endure. Every champion, every leader, every achiever has walked through pain. They've endured the physical pain of exhaustion, the emotional pain of rejection, the mental pain of doubt, and the spiritual pain of setbacks. But they also knew that all of it was temporary. No pain lasts forever. Muscles heal hearts mend, confidence rebuilds, and energy returns. But quitting doesn't heal. Quitting doesn't pass. Quitting stays. It follows you. It whispers in your ear years later, reminding you of the time you gave up, the time you walked away, the time you let the pain control you instead of pushing through it. Quitting locks you in the past, but pushing through pain frees your future. The body understands this principle. Think of working out. When you push your muscles, they ache, they burn, they scream at you to stop. That pain is temporary. It's the signal that growth is happening, that strength is being built. If you quit in that moment, you lose the reward. If you push through, the pain fades, and what's left is a stronger, more powerful version of you. Life works the same way. Every challenge that burns, every trial that hurts, every setback that stings is simply a workout for your character. The pain is temporary, but the growth is permanent. The moment you stop running from it and start embracing it, you gain the ability to outlast anything life throws at you. The problem is that society has conditioned people to avoid pain at all costs. Comfort is sold as the goal. Ease is marketed as success. We're told to chase the path of least resistance. And in doing so, people quit the moment they feel discomfort. But greatness is never built in comfort. No empire, no breakthrough, no revolution was born in ease. They were born in fire, in pressure, in pain. Winners train their minds to lean into the discomfort, to embrace it, to see it not as a threat, but as a teacher. Because once you know pain is temporary, you strip it of its power. You stop letting it dictate your choices, and you start using it as fuel. Pain sharpens focus. Pain humbles ego. Pain teaches patience. Pain deepens gratitude. Pain builds empathy. Pain develops resilience. Every lesson that pain gives you is a gift, but you can only unwrap it if you keep going. Quitting cancels the gift. Quitting ends the process too early. Quitting leaves you stuck with the pain, but without the reward. That's why quitting is dangerous. It doesn't take the pain away. It makes the pain permanent by adding regret on top of it. And regret is far heavier, far darker, and far more crippling than any temporary discomfort could ever be. When you quit, you don't just lose the battle you were fighting, you lose a piece of yourself. You lose confidence, you lose momentum, you lose trust in your own word. You start to believe the identity of a quitter, and that identity follows you into every area of life. The next time things get tough, quitting becomes easier, more familiar, more natural. Before long, it's not just one dream you gave up on, it's a pattern of surrender. That's why winners fight so hard not to quit. They'd rather endure temporary pain than live with permanent regret. They'd rather suffer now than suffer forever. They'd rather push through discomfort and earn the victory than fold under pressure and carry shame. The truth is, pain reveals who you are. When everything is easy, when everything is going your way, you don't know your true strength. It's only when you're tested, only when you're hurting, only when you're doubting that you discover your capacity. Pain shows you how much you can handle, and usually it's more than you ever thought possible. But you can only discover that if you keep going. Quitting shuts the door before you see your own power. Quitting robs you of the revelation that you are far stronger, far tougher, and far more resilient than you believed. Pain is not the enemy, it's the price. It's the currency you pay for success, for growth, for transformation. Every rep in the gym costs pain. Every hour building a business costs sacrifice. Every moment learning a skill costs struggle. But all of it is temporary. You pay the price once and you get the reward forever. Quit and you avoid the payment, but you also forfeit the prize. Winners understand that the pain is never as permanent as it feels in the moment. Winners remind themselves that what hurts today will strengthen tomorrow. Winners anchor themselves to the vision of what's on the other side of pain, because that vision is always greater than the discomfort. You have to decide which weight you want to carry, the weight of temporary pain or the weight of permanent regret. Pain may make you sweat, cry, scream, but regret will make you shrink, hide, and settle. Pain builds you up. Regret tears you down. Pain leaves once the lesson is learned. Regret stays for a lifetime. So when you're in the middle of the storm, when your body is tired, when your heart is heavy, when your mind is screaming at you to stop, you must remember this will pass. The pain will end. The struggle will fade. But if you quit, you'll carry that decision with you for the rest of your life. The most successful people are not the ones who avoided pain. They are the ones who embraced it and kept going anyway. They treated pain as proof that they were on the right track, that they were stretching beyond their limits, that they were evolving. They refused to quit because they knew quitting would erase everything they had endured. And so they endured a little longer, just long enough for the pain to break, for the door to open, for the reward to arrive. That's the pattern of winners. They outlast pain. They use pain. They transform pain. They refuse to give it more power than it deserves. And in doing so, they claim victories that quitters will never know. Winners see obstacles as tests, not limits. And this single shift in perspective is what separates those who stop from those who soar. Most people look at an obstacle and immediately assume it's a barrier, a dead end, a sign that they should turn back. They take resistance as rejection, difficulties, impossibility, and they shrink in the face of challenge. Winners don't see it that way. Winners look at an obstacle and see a question: how bad do you want this? How strong are you? How resourceful can you become? They see every wall as a test of creativity, every delay as a test of patience, every failure as a test of resilience. Where others see limits, winners see lessons. Where others stop, winners find a way. An obstacle is never there to stop you. It is there to shape you. The very thing that blocks your path is the thing that builds your strength. The struggle that frustrates you today is forging the qualities you will need for tomorrow. Without obstacles, you don't grow. Without obstacles, you stay weak. Without obstacles, your potential remains hidden. Winners know this, and that's why they don't avoid obstacles. They welcome them. They understand that life isn't testing them to keep them out. Life is testing them to prepare them for more. Every obstacle is a training ground for greatness. Think about every major achievement in history. None of it came easy. Every breakthrough was preceded by setbacks, challenges, delays, resistance. The innovators who changed the world faced countless obstacles, and each one tested whether they were committed enough to keep going. The leaders who rose to power endured criticism, rejection, and betrayal. The athletes who became legends hit wall after wall, injury after injury, loss after loss. But in each case, the obstacle wasn't the end. It was the process. It was the test of whether they had the persistence, the grit, the vision to push through. And the reason they succeeded was because they chose to interpret those obstacles not as limits, but as stepping stones. The mind is powerful, and the way you interpret obstacles determines whether you break or break through. If you believe an obstacle means stop, then you'll stop. If you believe an obstacle means grow, then you'll grow. Winners train their minds to see problems as puzzles, setbacks as lessons, and barriers as invitations to rise higher. They ask better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of, I can't do this, they ask, how can I do this? That shift alone turns an obstacle from something that destroys you into something that develops you. Obstacles are mirrors. They reflect back your current level of resilience, your current level of patience, your current level of creativity. If you hit an obstacle and give up, it simply shows you where you are weak, where you need growth. If you hit an obstacle and push through, it shows you the strength you already have. Winners don't resent this reflection. They use it. They let the obstacle expose their gaps, and then they work to close them. They let the obstacle reveal their blind spots, and then they adapt. Every time they pass the test, they level up. They become stronger, smarter, more prepared for the next one. Obstacles are also filters. They filter out the people who aren't serious, who don't have the persistence to finish what they started. That's why the path to greatness always looks empty. Most people gave up at the first obstacle. The world doesn't reward those who quit. It rewards those who refuse to let limits define them. The moment you decide that obstacles are not limits, you immediately put yourself in the minority, the rare few who will endure long enough to succeed. And that endurance is often the only difference between those who make it and those who don't. The truth is, every obstacle carries within it an opportunity. The opportunity might be disguised, it might be wrapped in struggle and frustration, but it's there. The opportunity to develop discipline, the opportunity to prove your commitment, the opportunity to innovate, to think differently, to find another way. Many of the greatest breakthroughs were born because of obstacles. When the usual path was blocked, winners created a new path. When the tool they needed didn't exist, they built it. When the resource they lacked wasn't available, they found a substitute. Obstacles sparked innovation, and innovation created progress. What looked like a limit was simply a test to see who would rise to the challenge. Winners also understand that obstacles reveal character. Anyone can move forward when the road is clear, when the sky is blue, when the journey is easy. But the moment obstacles appear, that's when the truth is revealed. Do you complain or do you commit? Do you shrink or do you stretch? Do you fold or do you fight? Your response to obstacles defines who you are. Winners take pride in those moments. They don't resent the test. They welcome it because they know it's the test that gives meaning to the victory. A victory without struggle is empty, but a victory after obstacles is unforgettable. Most people underestimate how temporary obstacles can be. In the moment, they feel permanent, immovable, unbeatable. But time and persistence always prove otherwise. What felt like the end becomes just another chapter. What felt impossible becomes inevitable once you find the way through. Winners remind themselves of this truth in the heat of the battle. They remind themselves that this wall is not forever, that this struggle is not permanent. They anchor themselves in the belief that obstacles are not limits. They are temporary barriers designed to strengthen the one who pushes past them. The difference between winners and quitters is not that winners face fewer obstacles. It's that winners interpret them differently. Quitters see obstacles and stop. Winners see obstacles and grow. Quitters let obstacles define their limits. Winners let obstacles expand their potential. Quitters believe obstacles are proof they can't. Winners believe obstacles are proof they must. That shift in belief changes everything, because the way you see the obstacle determines the way you approach it, and the way you approach it determines whether you overcome it. When you begin to see obstacles as tests, you remove the fear from the process. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, how can I grow? You stop dreading the challenge and you start anticipating it, because you know that with every test you pass, you are becoming more of the person you were destined to be. The very obstacles that once made you hesitate become the very experiences that make you unstoppable. And with that mindset, no obstacle can ever truly hold you back. Victory belongs to those who refuse to stop. And that single truth has built empires, sparked revolutions, and created legends. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is not intelligence, not luck, not privilege, but an unshakable refusal to stop. The people who win in life are not the ones who had the easiest path. They are the ones who kept moving forward when everything screamed at them to quit. They are the ones who held on a little longer, pushed a little harder, believed a little deeper. They are the ones who, when faced with failure after failure, setback after setback, pain after pain, simply said, I will not stop. That refusal is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The almost from the unstoppable life will test you. It will push you to your limits. It will knock you down. It will whisper in your ear that it's over. Most people hear that whisper and they surrender. They decide it's too much, too heavy, too hard. But those who win here, the same whisper and answer back with action. They stand up, they rise again, they take another step. The refusal to stop is not about ignoring pain. It's about pushing through it. It's not about denying difficulty. It's about enduring it. It's about making the decision that no matter how dark, no matter how heavy, no matter how hopeless it seems, you will not give in. Because the moment you stop, the moment you quit, you guarantee defeat. But the moment you refuse to stop, you guarantee that victory is still possible. Victory belongs to those who stay in the game. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the strongest. You simply have to stay. The longer you stay, the more chances you have, the more opportunities appear, the more lessons you learn, the more resilience you build. Those who stop never see the breakthrough because they left too soon. They quit before the tide turned, before the door opened, before the miracle happened. But those who refuse to stop, they outlast the storm, they survive the fire, they stay long enough to see the victory that others forfeited. That's why victory doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most relentless. Every great success story carries the same theme: persistence. The inventor who tried hundreds, thousands of times before getting it right. The athlete who trained for years through loss after loss before finally winning the championship. The entrepreneur who went bankrupt, who was laughed at, who was rejected, but kept building until the world had no choice but to notice. These people weren't different in their struggles. They were different in their refusal to stop. And that is why they hold victory in their hands today. They didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let fear stop them. They didn't let pain stop them. They kept going when it would have been easier to quit. And because of that, victory was inevitable. The refusal to stop builds something far greater than success. It builds identity. Every time you keep going when you want to quit, you prove to yourself that you are resilient. Every time you take one more step when your body screams no, you reinforce the truth that you are stronger than you believe. Every time you rise from failure, you remind yourself that nothing can hold you down permanently. This identity becomes your armor. It becomes your power. It becomes the foundation on which every future victory is built. And the stronger that identity grows, the less likely you are to ever stop because you know who you are. You are someone who refuses to quit. Victory is not just about crossing the finish line. It's about what you become along the way. The process of refusing to stop transforms you. It strips away weakness. It destroys excuses. It eliminates doubt. It molds you into someone who cannot not be broken, someone who cannot be defeated, someone who cannot be stopped. And when you arrive at the moment of victory, it is not the trophy, the title, the recognition that matters most. What matters is that you know you didn't give in, you didn't surrender, you didn't stop. That knowledge is worth more than any prize because it means you can face anything in the future with absolute certainty that you will overcome. The truth is, the battle is not won by the person who never fails. It is won by the person who never stops. Failing is part of the process. Stumbling is part of the journey. Falling is part of growth. None of those things disqualify you. The only thing that disqualifies you is stopping. And that's why winners never let temporary defeat become permanent. They see failure as feedback, not as final. They see setbacks as setups, not as endings. They see obstacles as opportunities to prove their strength. And because they never stop, they always win in the end. Think about what happens when you refuse to stop. You force life to yield. You force doors to open. You force opportunities to appear. Persistence bends reality in your favor because life eventually rewards those who refuse to quit. It's almost unfair how powerful this principle is because while others waste their energy starting and stopping, you gain unstoppable momentum. You become the one who keeps going, and eventually you're the only one left standing. And the last one standing always wins. The refusal to stop is a decision, not a feeling. You will not always feel motivated. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel capable. Feelings come and go. But the decision to keep moving, to keep fighting, to keep showing up no matter what, that decision defines you. Winners don't wait for the feeling. They act on the decision. They get up when it hurts. They push forward when it's inconvenient. They show up when no one else does. And that decision, repeated day after day, creates a momentum so powerful that nothing can stop it. Victory becomes inevitable, not because it was guaranteed, but because you refuse to stop. At the end of the day, victory is less about brilliance and more about endurance. It's less about how quickly you arrive and more about whether you arrive at all. It belongs to those who outlast, outwork, outfight, and outlast again. It belongs to those who, when everything in them said stop, chose to move forward anyway. It belongs to those who plant their feet and declare that no obstacle, no setback, no failure, no pain will ever force them to quit. Those are the ones who win. Those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who claim the victories the world remembers.